Anti-woke grifters have been trying to claim for a little while now that woke is dead. Primarily because after the election of Donald Trump, a lot of liberals and leftists online felt so demotivated and so discouraged that they stopped being as active in political communities. Take it from me or literally any other progressive content creator out there, there's not really a presence of an online left online anymore. Like, there are large left-wing communities still, but they grew years ago. And they've just kind of maintained with a slow burn-off. And right now, there's just people just aren't, left-wing people aren't looking to think about politics or know about politics or keep up with the news or anything, right? And this means that it's given an opening for anti-woke grifters to claim that woke is dead and that they won the culture war, and that things such as the lesser presence of trans voices calling for trans acceptance as of late in the last 2 years or so, means that they were right. Everyone has detransitioned. That everyone realized that the trans movement was a lie. In fact, that is exactly the point of the video from Arielle Scarcella, notorious lesbian anti-woke right-wing pick-me grifter, who made a video called "Transitioning Was a Lie. Leftists are finally walking it back." So, that's the narrative. That the left is walking back transness, or walking back being pro-trans, or that transitioning is good. Now, I have not seen that at all, but what I have seen is that there's just a lot less trans activism online these days, largely because the trans community doesn't really want to make themselves known right now. There's a lot of harassment and abuse and hatred towards them they have to deal with, and people are feeling demotivated by Trump's victory. Trust me, though, by the time the next election comes around, woke's gonna come back, and these people will be whining about it till the cows come home. Anyway, let's see what Arielle Scarcella has to vomit up for us.
All hail Plankton.
What's going on here?
Identified as non-binary for almost a decade and don't anymore, so I have a lot of conversations with people about gender.
What started out as a TikTok trend fueled by social contagion, peer pressure, and online validation is now collapsing in record timing. People are finding out real-world consequences the hard way. Hormones, reversible surgeries, and mostly young women are—
Do you think we're gonna get any data? Any data to back up that there's been an increase in detransitioning? Or do you think it's just gonna be a bunch of TikTok clips? And claims that, like, see, a bunch of people on TikTok are saying it's happening, so it's happening. Just don't look at the data.
are realizing that they were sold a lie. And now they are choosing sanity over the ideology.
Sold a lie? I always like how grifters can't ever talk about progressive politics in a way that doesn't sound like they can't ever not see other political actors as the grifters they are. And so it leads to really odd comments about the left, where it's like, dude, no one's trying to sell you anything on the left, okay?
That almost destroyed them. Welcome to another psychological deep dive. If you are new here, my name is Arielle. Make sure to click that subscribe button because I am one of the only lesbians on YouTube that calls out the bullshit from both sides of the political spectrum, but currently I lean to the right.
Any they thems here? That fizzled out, huh? Right, last year there would have been a whole bunch.
Okay, it's exactly what I expected, but we're not even doing TikToks of people claiming they're detransitioning. We're doing right-wing comedy sketches, like right-wing stand-up comedy. This is our evidence that the trans thing is over. So if the trans thing is over, you're not going to be complaining about it anymore, right, Arielle? No more trans this, trans that, trans this, trans that in your videos? No more grifting off of how transness is a threat that needs to be fought against? If transness is gone now, if you guys have won the war against the lie of transness, then it should be dead. It's gone. No need to fight against it anymore. And so in a, 6 months when the midterm elections start, or maybe in 2 years when the general election comes around and people that are left-leaning are a lot more politically loud and active and the trans community is more active online, you guys aren't going to go back to complaining about it, right? Because it was all a lie. It was just a trend, a fad, right? And it won't come back, surely. And if it did, that would prove you wrong, so you wouldn't fight against it. You wouldn't be grifting or making anti-trans videos if that happened now, would you? The thing is, they would, right? They know that transness isn't going away. They know nothing but people feeling demotivated and being less online has happened. But they're taking advantage of this ability to create a perception, a false one, to push a narrative. And it's not a narrative that's meant to last, by the way. It's a narrative that's just meant to be the current thing, the current, lap of content and rhetoric to make money off of. They'll be on the opposite of this position next month. Next month, they'll be making videos about how transness is taking over. right? I'm pretty sure Arielle is probably going to make a video this week about how the, like, 5 minutes of screen time that Elliot Page gets in the Odyssey is unacceptable.
Wait, have you noticed this? They're walking that back now. Some of them, they're walking it back. And I'll say this.
So is this where Arielle Scarcella got the idea to make the video? Is this right-wing stand-up sketch?
If you ever went by they, them, you should not be able to go back. No backsies, you plural bitch.
It didn't.
I do agree with that, actually. I do. Because there are people who started, like, going by they, them pronouns to be able to claim transness falsely. Because if you don't remember what peak woke was like, dude, cancel culture was insane, dude. And if you could claim to be part of a group that was oppressed, it gave you so many free passes from getting canceled. And so many creators would, for a time, identify as non-binary and go by they, them pronouns just to be able to escape the constant torrent of transphobia accusations. Make no mistake, now the right likes to broadly generalize it as the entire left, but much like the era of the SJW, the woke scolds were real, dude. SJWs and woke scolds existed. They were politically illiterate, they were insufferable, and they destroyed the entire perception of the left at the times where they were at their peak. Right now, we're seeing, like, tankies and campists destroy the left from the inside, but before that it was the woke scolds, before that it was SJWs, that just a small vocal minority just was utilized to destroy the reputation of the left. I strongly prefer they, them, but if people use something else, I don't often correct them because that is a miserable process. In all seriousness, though, no, like, if your pronouns can be whatever the fuck you want, all right? Pronouns are naturally kind of just a intangible thing, right? Like, of all things, pronouns are not the thing that we should be getting in people's getting a problem with, right? What I thought these people were mad about was people hastily jumping to take medical procedures to transition, right? Like taking hormone blockers or getting on hormones or getting SRS. Like, why are we so mad about people having they, them pronouns? Like, I feel like on the grand scheme of things, at least from these people's worldview, that should be a complete nothing burger. That's just individual choice.
Fizzle out, and I believe there are 4 main reasons why. Number 1, society is just over it. We're over it. People were, like, somewhat willing to deal with the bullshit. You know, people wanted to be nice. There was, like, a whole anti-bullying campaign that happened just a few years before all of this came out. But now it has gone on for too long, and people are calling out the control issues and the demonization of people that don't agree with this gender ideology cult.
No backsies, you plural bitch. After all that, my friend came up to me, she said,
who is this comedian, by the way? She looks like one of those women that was part of the temperance movement that would, like, go into bars and destroy everything while all the, like, people in there were drinking. They would just come in and destroy all the liquor and leave. They were part of these, like, super conservative, like, faux feminist movements that, like, did a lot of the groundwork to cause the prohibition. Like, she literally, she looks like one of them. Like, if you've seen, like, the drawings of those scenes going down. Who is this? Is this like a turf comedian that I don't know? I don't follow stand-up comedy. That looks like Carrie Nation. Who the fuck is Carrie Nation? Okay, yeah, you got it. Yeah, radical temperance. Yep. Yeah, you got it. You understood what I was referencing. But what is this lady in the clip, though? Like, is she a stand-up comedian? I don't know. I wish we could figure out who this person is.
Said, oh yeah, I'm not really doing that anymore. She's been doing they, them for 6 years. She's like, I'm not really doing that anymore. I'm like, oh yes you are.
The same old tired-ass line, the left dislikes and criticizes and derides people who disagree with them. Please stop. Well, I mean, they strawman the left non-stop as being like, oh, the left says that you have to be nice and bullying is bad. But then they are mean to people who are racist. But they'll never say they're mean to people who are racist. They'll say they're mean to people who disagree with their radical racial politics. And it's like people calling a guy who screams the N-word a retard. And it's like, okay. The left does not believe in being nice, by the way. The left is not about being nice. Like, it is certainly a nice thing to do to not hate someone because of who they are. Like, because of their identity. It is a nice thing not to do that, I guess, but it's kind of, the left's view of it is that that's morally neutral. That, like, the left sees something like accepting a trans person as basic common human decency, basic sort of manners or respect, you know, public decorum. And the right sees it as an attack on their sensibilities to be expected to uphold their manners around these people they see as lesser. Because that's what it is. As much as they may say, oh, I just don't want to use the pronouns they prefer because it's incorrect, it's like, well, no. Like, if someone had a nickname that wasn't technically their name, you wouldn't make a big deal about using that. It's that you very clearly have an issue with trans people, the people who are trans. You have a problem with them, they bother you, and you don't want to do anything that would be considered polite towards them, such as using their preferred pronouns. This is a movement against politeness.
Oh, yes, you are. There was 6 of you. You made everyone change their shit for you. But your life was good and you were rich and you went to Wesley and you needed a problem and you took me with you.
Like, what world were these people living in the last 4 years? And also, like, these wealthy comedians, what world are they living in now? Where, like, in today's political climate, and with the economy that we have, and the administration we have, they're talking about, wasn't that whole peak woke trans thing a few years ago crazy, guys? Like, why is everyone talking about 2016 and 2020 so much lately? Like, all these conservatives, it feels like they don't want to talk about now. It's like something going on now, or the political landscape of now, if you analyze anything going on with the government now, it seems like it's not very, like, effective for the right. So just constantly talking about 2020 and 2016 has been their focus for, like, the last year. Have you guys noticed that?
Are you trans?
Do I look trans?
A little bit. You're offended, but you're dressed up like a girl.
Even the tolerant gays of West Hollywood are over this.
I don't understand. I live in LA. I go to gay bars. I'm literally at a gay bar. Why do I intentionally get misgendered almost every single time by ugly men? Ugly men. Like, it's one thing for it to be a mistake, but, like, intentionally sitting there at a gay bar while you're trying to get laid by the guy next to you, like,
Like I said, we're gonna find a bunch of TikToks and try to create a narrative out of it. Do you guys know how much the rate of detransitioning has increased since Trump took office 2 years ago? Or almost 2 years ago? Do you guys know? Less than a percentage point. Do you want to know the #1 most cited reason why people detransition? Shouldn't surprise you. The data that's been collected on this has found unanimous results. Because of a lack of support externally, whether it be family or friends. When family and friends and the society around you are not willing to support your identity, trans people, they lock themselves in the closet. That's what the right's so desperate for, by the way. We were at a tipping point in 2020, like we were just crossing that line, where trans people were broadly accepted enough that they could exist in public and really start coming out. Like, trans people could really be a out and open part of the community for really the first time. And the right realized how dangerous this was. That trans people in movies and on TV and in your school, in your classroom, in your friend group, that is going to cripple the right's ability to demonize them. And they realize that the only way to counter this is to go absolutely hyperspeed on flooding the zone with anti-trans shit, as Steve Bannon calls it. Flooding the zone with shit is what he refers to. That's his name for, like, when they just pump out a nonstop stream of misinfo. Their like internal name for doing this is flooding the zone with shit. This is what Trump's campaign does. Like, that's their name for it. They came up with that phrase. So they flood the zone with anti-trans misinfo at a light speed rate. And they get the hate everywhere. Even if it's just a loud minority, they need there to be screaming anti-trans bigots all over the place. Because that scares enough trans people into going back in the closet and staying stealth that transness is no longer isn't a present thing that's like around all the time, that you're aware of anymore. And this is how we push that needle back to the red on trans rights, because we were right on that little purple line between blue and red, and the right really needed to go hyperspeed to tick us back into the red before we saw an exponential jump in trans acceptance that comes with the bare minimum of existing and having a presence in society. Time Off Task, thank you for the $5. Says, used to watch more back in 2021, getting back into the streams now. I've since transitioned. I'm glad to see you still here. Yes, that's actually, thank you so much. But that's a good example of what I'm talking about. A lot of people were super, like a lot of the left was super engaged with online politics in 2020, 2019, 2021. But yeah, 2022 to when Trump took office, you know, Biden's in power, then Trump wins, and yeah, the left just kind of went into hibernation mode. But it is starting to come back. People are getting back into being politically active online. And I know it sounds silly, like politically active online. What's that matter? It does. It does. 5 years ago, I think most people would have been like, really? You think internet politics fucking matters? You cringe. But I think if you've looked at how Trump rose to power and you've seen how integral the internet was to it, how integral Gamergate was to it, that Gamergate wasn't just a happenstance that helped Trump a little. It was orchestrated by Trump's campaign, by members of Trump's campaign to help push right-wing populism in young men in the gaming community to facilitate and pave the path for Trump's election, to create a culture. Basically what Bannon realized, Steve Bannon, Trump's main campaign guy, before he got arrested, Trump's main campaign guy was running illegal Chinese World of Warcraft gold farms and single-handedly destroyed World of Warcraft's gold economy. Like, basically started the outbreak of Chinese gold farming bots in World of Warcraft and gold selling. And Bannon made a shitload off of this, running these gold farming bot farms and these gold selling companies, right? But then the WoW community found out about the gold selling problem and the bot farming problem and complained. The WoW community went apeshit. Like, this relatively small community of gamers were able to make headlines and end up on TV in news stories because they were upset about gold farmers in a video game they play. And Steve Bannon saw this, and what he realized was how much of an impact the anger of a small, vocal minority can have. And that was when the idea for Gamergate struck him, that he could repeat the same thing, that he could rally a loud, dedicated group of gamers. Gamers are some of the loudest, most dedicated, relentless people on the internet. He could weaponize them for a political movement. And he realized it when he saw their reaction to his gold selling scheme in WoW. And next thing you know, he's on Trump's campaign, the lead of Trump's campaign in 2016. And he's on Fox News and interviews talking about how they flood the zone with shit, as they call it, with like just out flooding the left with all of their anti-left propaganda, just like covering everything up. Like, all this stuff is out in the open, and you're seeing it in action here. Right? Like, they're trying to push this narrative that transness is disappearing due to the lack of merit that trans identity has. But at the end of the day, this is propaganda. Like, this won't turn out to be true. And then in a year, maybe less, they're going to be screaming the opposite of this point because trans people will be loud and proud again.
The audacity is crazy. You're ugly. You're ugly and you're targeting me?
Jeffree Star was one of the biggest gays to come out publicly against this a few years back and is still calling it out.
LGB is it. Q and T, get off the alphabet, sweetie. You should be in your own category.
I cannot tell you how much I hate this person. Like, the fact that who is this, Jeffree Star? The fact that this person is considered, like, an acceptable right-wing pick-me gay is insane, dude. Like, you know who else was, like, a famous detransitioner? That's like popular, or at least was popular for a time as like an anti-trans grifter. Dude, it is insane how much the internet let Ollie London get away with it, bro. So Ollie London was the trans Korean grifter, like was obsessed with BTS, this like K-pop band called BTS, and was obsessed with Jimin, a member of the K-pop group, and was getting plastic surgery to transition into Korean. And of course, you had the entire left and the whole trans community being like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? You're not trans. You can't transition into another race." Well, Ollie London gets a ton of hate from the trans community, and then what does Ollie London do to get back at the trans community that gave him hate for going trans race? He goes detransitioner. Ollie London detransitions and then makes a big, "The left made me do this. The trans community groomed me into being trans race. They made me believe this was real, and now I'm detransitioning and escaping the crazy trans nonsense and wrote a bunch of books and made a bunch of money grifting. Mind you, this person was getting dunked on by PewDiePie for doing this BTS Jimin thing, and then the right accepted this person, this guy, as a detransitioner after they were known for years as the weirdo who's stalking and trying to turn into a BTS singer. This person's grift was so blatant, and it was such a, like, their switch to detransitioner grift was so clearly in response to the trans community pushing back against them, but to really kick sand into the wound, their claim was the trans community encouraged it. To get revenge against the trans community for not encouraging him, they went to the right and said, look what the trans community made me do to myself. That is how soullessly, subhumanly dishonest these people are. They are subhuman, make no mistake. They're not people. I don't talk often about, like, how dehumanized these people are in my eyes, but they are. Like, the right-wing grifters that are, like, the tier 1 actors, as some might call them, that push the right-wing propaganda directly. Like, these people are way less than human in my eyes. Now, the people that fall for their propaganda, I don't think too lowly of them, but the people who push it and profit off of it, genuinely, like, pond scum to me.
Lesbian, gay, and bi. Is that not a sexuality?
That's a sexuality, yes.
Okay.
What you think your identity is has nothing to do with what you're sexually attracted to. So why is T and Q on LGB?
Number 2, it is harder. It is more difficult to find jobs and to go into the real world acting like this. The majority of people will not take you seriously. There was even a recent study that proves people with they, them pronouns in their bios or
Dude, people will be bigoted to you. That means it's wrong to be part of that group. If people are bigoted against you, that means the bigotry is right. Like, there's no need for a conversation about that. No need to argue any deeper. If people don't like you because you're brown, just don't be brown, dude. Like, clearly, if being brown gives you a harder time in life, there's a reason for that, and it's valid, and not just people being pieces of shit. Like, imagine using this logic for any other kind of bigotry.
their resumes don't get hired as often. This was a study coming out of the University of Toronto just 2 years ago. Look at this graph. Even the Democratic areas were less likely to hire they-thems. And I wonder why. And listen, this economy is a little bit crazy right now. It is indeed difficult to find consistent work or even freelance work.
Whose fault is that? Probably Biden, right? You're probably the Democrats somehow.
Job market feels completely broken. AI is taking over. And I know so many people, even really qualified people, that are finding it difficult right now. They feel like they're just sending out hundreds of resumes and not getting any answers back. One of the biggest
Damn wokeness, am I right? Wokeness did that, clearly.
Problems are that people are basically applying blind. Most traditional job boards just throw thousands of random listings at you and hope
okay, now we're completely off the top. Is she segueing into... Yep, she's segueing into a sponsor. She's segueing into a fucking sponsor. Oh my god, dude. The grift. Let's see how shameless this segue is, dude.
Basically applying blind. Most traditional job boards just throw thousands of random listings at you and hope something sticks. That's why I've been sending a few of my friends over to remotejobsfinder.co because what I found was very interesting, and yes, they are sponsoring.
Genuinely subhuman. These grifters are so subhuman to me. I hope you guys know that. Genuine, like, what are some other dehumanizing phrases that, like, the Nazis used to describe people they didn't like? Like cockroaches, rats... Like any kind of dehumanizing descriptor for these people. That's more or less how I think of them. Yeah. Some might even say, no, I'm not gonna push it. I'm not gonna push it. Y'all know how much I hate these people. I don't need to emphasize any further. Anyway, folks, if you enjoyed this segment, then please consider leaving a like and a comment down below. Subscribe and ring the bell icon if you want to see more from me in the future, and follow my social medias linked down below to see more on other platforms as well. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you again in the next one.